The taste of copper filled my mouth as I read the family group chat message for the third time. My jaw clenched so tight my molars ached. Olivia, we need to discuss your living situation. Your sister Rachel and her fiancé need the apartment. You have until Sunday to find somewhere else. This works better for the family. The words blurred slightly as my vision narrowed, the familiar sensation of my pulse hammering behind my eyes. Below the message, Rachel had already posted a Pinterest board titled Downtown Loft Transformation, with images of exposed brick, modern lighting, and open concept layouts. My apartment? The one I'd lived in for 3 years. Rachel, so excited. Mom, can we start painting this weekend? I want to get the bedroom done before Olivia's stuff is even gone. Nathan, about time. Liv's been hogging that place forever. She doesn't even need that much space. My name is Elena, I'm 29, and I'm a commercial real estate acquisitions director. This is the story of how I made my family finally see what was right in front of them. I'd spent my entire life being the responsible one who faded into the background while my siblings collected applause for their smallest achievements. Rachel's promotion to shift supervisor warranted a champagne dinner. My acquisition of a $2.8 million property got a polite, "That's nice, honey," before the conversation moved to Nathan's new dating app match. What they didn't know was that their invisible middle daughter had been building an empire while they weren't looking. I pulled up my laptop and navigated to Sterling Management LLC, my company, established 5 years ago, when I realized that real estate investment was my path to independence. The building at 847 Sterling Avenue appeared on screen. 12 units mixed commercial and residential, purchased for $2.8 million, now valued at $4.1 million owner. Elena Reyes via Sterling Management LLC, including the 2-bedroom corner unit on the 4th floor where I currently lived. The apartment my family assumed belonged to some vague family investment they had partial control over, because I'd never corrected their assumption when they asked about my housing situation. Years ago. Why would I? They'd never shown genuine interest in the details of my life. My phone vibrated with another message from Dad. Elena, your mother, and I have discussed this. Rachel and Kevin need to start their married life somewhere affordable. You're established in your career. You can find another place easily. Established in my career, if only he knew. At 29, I was one of the youngest acquisitions directors at Cornerstone Commercial Real Estate, with a personal portfolio worth $11.5 million across 7 properties. But to them, I was still the quiet middle child who'd somehow stumbled into a decent job. I clicked through to the tenant management system and pulled up my lease agreement. Tenant, Elena Reyes. Landlord, Sterling Management LLC lease terms, month to month with owner occupancy rights. Then I opened the building's access control system. 4 key cards were registered to my apartment. Mine, Mom's emergency spare, Rachel's just-in-case copy, and the one Dad had made himself last year without asking permission. Mom, we're doing you a favor, really. Time to stop being so comfortable and push yourself. Maybe get a roommate, learn to budget better. Budget better. The irony burned in my throat, like acid. I'd been financially independent since 23, putting myself through business school while working full-time. Meanwhile, Rachel was 28, still on our parents' phone plan with her car insurance paid from the family account. My phone rang. Mom, not waiting for a text response. "Did you see my message?" she asked without preamble. I did. "Good. So you understand the situation. Rachel needs that apartment and you've had it long enough. Time to share family resources." Family resources. The words came out steadier than I felt as heat spread across my chest. Don't take that tone. You know what I mean. The apartment was available, you moved in, but now Rachel has priority. She's getting married, starting a life. You're just there. Just there. Living my life, managing my properties, building wealth my family couldn't even conceptualize. Who owns the building, Mom? What? Some investment group your father knows. Why does that matter? Because I'd like to understand the authority behind this eviction notice. It's not an eviction, Elena. It's family managing family assets. Don't be dramatic. After she hung up, I sent a message to my property manager, William. My family is attempting to evict me from Unit 4B under the mistaken impression they have authority to do so. They have unauthorized key cards. Please deactivate all cards except mine immediately. His response came within minutes. Done. Building security notified. Should I send formal lease violation notices to unauthorized cardholders? Not yet. Let's see how this plays out. The family group chat was heating up. Rachel. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. Mom said you're being stubborn about moving out. Nathan. Typical Elena. Always has to make everything complicated. Dad. Elena, I'm calling building management tomorrow to ensure a smooth transition. Please have your belongings packed by Saturday. I screenshot the property deed showing Sterling Management LLC as the owner, with my name as sole member and manager. Then another screenshot of my tenant portal showing my lease agreement. I saved both, but didn't send them. Not yet. Thursday morning, my phone erupted with calls from Dad while I was in a client meeting discussing a potential $8 million mixed-use development. I let it go to voicemail. The voicemail was 2 minutes of confusion and escalating anger. Elena, I just got off the phone with building management. They're saying I don't have authorization to discuss the property. They won't even confirm tenant information. What kind of operation are they running? Call me back immediately. By Thursday afternoon, Rachel had discovered her key card no longer worked. She'd planned to measure the apartment for furniture, having gotten the unit number from Mom, who had visited me there several times. Rachel. My key doesn't work. Something's wrong with the building security. Mom. Elena, did you do something to the security system? Me. I haven't touched anything. Perhaps building management updated their protocols. Dad. This is unacceptable. I'm going down there in person to sort this out. I could picture Dad marching into the building lobby, demanding to speak to management, only to be directed to contact the corporate office of Sterling Management LLC, which consisted of my attorney, my accountant, and me. Friday morning brought the call I'd been expecting. Dad had spent Thursday evening searching online property records after his fruitless visit to the management office. I need you to explain something to me. His voice was tight with controlled anger. I went to building management yesterday. They directed me to the ownership group. When I called, I was told all tenant and property matters go through the primary owner, listed as Elena Reyes. That's correct, I replied, my voice steady despite my racing heart. Silence stretched across the line like a held breath. What do you mean that's correct? I mean I own the building, Dad. I purchased it 3 years ago. Sterling Management is my company. That's impossible. You don't have that kind of money. I do, actually. I've been investing in real estate since I was 24. I own 7 properties with a combined value of about $11.5 million. Sterling Avenue was my 3rd acquisition. The pause was so long I wondered if the call had dropped. 11.5 million? His voice sounded strained, almost hoarse. You're saying you have $11 million in real estate? In property value, yes. About $4.2 million in equity after mortgages, plus my investment accounts and liquid assets. Another endless pause. Why wouldn't you tell us this? The question hung between us, loaded with years of assumptions and overlooked achievements. You never asked. You've never asked what I do with my money, how my career is progressing, or what my long-term plans are. You assumed I was getting by in some entry-level position, so that's what you saw. But we're your family. And yet, you just tried to evict me from my own property to give it to Rachel. We didn't know it was your property. You didn't know because you didn't ask. You made assumptions and acted on them. Now you're upset that your assumptions were wrong. Dad struggled to process this new reality, but his focus remained fixed on the apartment. Rachel still needs it. Can't you just... No. Rachel can find her own apartment. There are dozens available in the area. She doesn't get mine because Mom decided it was convenient. This is going to disappoint your sister terribly. Rachel will survive the disappointment of apartment hunting like every other engaged couple in the city. Your mother is going to be very upset. Mom is already upset that I'm not immediately complying with her demands. This just gives her a different reason. Later that Friday evening, I was reviewing financial projections at a property showing for a potential 8th acquisition, a small office building in the Arts District, when Mom called. "Elena, your father told me the most ridiculous story." "It's not a story, Mom. I own the building. I'm not moving out. Rachel needs to find somewhere else." "But we promised her that apartment." "You promised her something that wasn't yours to promise. That's not my problem." "How can you be so selfish? She's your sister." "And I'm a person with property rights. Being related doesn't entitle her to my apartment." "This isn't some stranger's apartment. This is family." "No, Mom, this is my apartment in my building. Family doesn't enter into it." "I can't believe you've been lying to us about this for years." "I haven't lied about anything. You told people I was house sitting, and I didn't correct you because honestly, it wasn't your business. I pay my bills, live my life, and manage my investments. None of that required your input or approval. You've been secretly hoarding money while your sister struggles." "Rachel doesn't struggle. Rachel has a decent job and parents who subsidize half her expenses. She chooses to live beyond her means. That's her decision. I chose to live below my means and invest the difference. Different choices, different outcomes." Mom hung up on me. The family group chat exploded over the weekend, a cascade of accusations and disbelief that I watched from the emotional distance of 3 years' worth of feeling invisible. "Rachel, I can't believe you've been lying to us. You have millions and you let me think we were doing you a favor." "Nathan, this is so messed up. You've been playing poor while sitting on a fortune." "Dad, we need a family meeting to discuss this situation properly." "Mom, you owe your sister an explanation and an apology." I muted the group chat and went about my weekend. Property inspections, reviewing financial statements, meeting with contractors about renovations on one of my other buildings. Sunday evening, a knock echoed through my apartment. The security camera showed my entire family in the hallway: Mom, Dad, Rachel, Kevin, and Nathan. A coordinated confrontation, with all of them arriving together to present a united front. I opened the door, but didn't invite them in. "We need to talk," Dad said. "About what?" "About how we're going to resolve this situation." "What situation? Rachel needs to go apartment hunting." "She needs somewhere to live," Mom interjected. "There are vacant units in this building. She's welcome to apply for one like any other tenant." "You can't be serious," Rachel said, her eyes widening. "I'm your sister." "Which is why I'm telling you about the vacancies instead of making you find them on Zillow, but you're not getting my apartment." "What about a family discount?" Kevin asked. "Some kind of family rate?" "Market rate," I said firmly. "I don't give family discounts. That's how family conflicts start." "Family conflicts?" Mom's voice climbed higher. "We're already in a family conflict because you've been hiding your wealth." "I haven't been hiding anything. I've been private about my finances, which is my right. You all made assumptions and I didn't correct them. That's not the same as lying." "You let us think you were struggling," Rachel accused. "I never said I was struggling. You assumed that because I don't broadcast my financial situation like it's a competition." Nathan stepped forward. "So what, you're just going to keep all this money to yourself?" "It's my money, Nathan. I earned it, invested it, and grew it. What exactly do you think you're entitled to? We're family. Being family doesn't create financial obligations. I don't owe you housing, money, or access to my assets." Dad tried a different approach, his voice softening. "Elena, your mother and I are proud of what you've accomplished. We just think you should be more generous with family." "I am generous with family. I host holidays. I remember birthdays. I show up when it matters. What I don't do is hand over my property because someone decides they want it." "So that's it?" Rachel's eyes filled with tears. "You're going to keep your precious apartment while Kevin and I struggle to find something we can afford?" "Rachel, you don't struggle to afford things. Mom and Dad pay your car insurance, your phone bill, and helped with your down payment. You have plenty of money. You just spend it on other priorities. That's your choice, but it doesn't obligate me to solve the consequences." "This is so typical," Nathan muttered. "Elena always thinks she's better than everyone." "I don't think I'm better than anyone. I just refuse to be treated like a resource for you to exploit." They left shortly after, tension crackling in the air like electricity before a storm. 2 weeks later, William texted, 2 applications for vacant units, one from Rachel Reyes. Process normally? Process normally. No special treatment either way. Rachel's application was denied. Her debt-to-income ratio was too high, and she had 2 late payments on her credit report from the previous year. She texted me directly, "You rejected my application?" The property management company rejected your application based on standard tenant criteria. I don't personally review applications. You could override it. I could, but I won't. Those criteria exist for a reason. I can't forgive you for this. You're allowed to feel that way. 3 weeks later, Rachel and Kevin found an apartment across town, smaller than mine, slightly more expensive, but theirs. Mom stopped speaking to me except for holiday coordination texts. Dad occasionally sent articles about family wealth management with pointed subject lines. Nathan went back to his usual pattern of minimal contact, treating family gatherings like obligatory appearances. 6 months later, at Rachel's wedding, the family dynamics had settled into their new reality. Mom maintained polite but distant conversation. Dad acknowledged my success, but never quite forgave the surprise. Rachel and I managed civil exchanges for special occasions. Though our sisterly relationship never recovered, Nathan remained indifferent, focused on his own life as always. The revelation had shifted everything, but time had shown that some relationships adapt while others simply accept the distance. But I kept my apartment with its floor-to-ceiling windows, my building with its steady rental income, and my boundaries intact. They'd said, "Pack your things," not knowing I owned the building they were trying to evict me from. Now they knew, and everything had changed. Everything except my lease, which remained exactly as it had always been. Before you go, here's a quick bonus for sticking around. If you love learning and growing like I do, you need to try audiobooks. I've got an exclusive deal with Audible. Your first month is completely free. That's access to over 500,000 titles, 0 cost to you. All the details are waiting in the description. Don't miss this one.